Chosen one, listen closely. The truth God has been keeping for your appointed time is breaking through right now. Heaven has been holding a revelation on your behalf, waiting for the hour when your heart would be steady enough to carry it. That hour is here. Something divine is approaching you with unmistakable force, as if the unseen realm itself refuses to let you remain in the dark any longer. You are guided here because the whole truth, your truth, can't stay hidden anymore, and the atmosphere is already bending to make room for what you're about to hear. Chosen one, breathe. Let your heart steady itself beneath the weight of this moment. For the Lord has seen the questions you buried beneath your strength, the restless nights that pressed against your chest, the quiet ache that wondered if your divine purpose had been forgotten. But hear this with the depth of your being. Nothing in your journey has been random. Every delay you feared, every silence you interpreted as absence, was shaping the framework of a breakthrough season that begins now. Isaiah 55:11 declares, "My word will not return to me empty," and the word spoken over your life is rising with force. You are not guided here for comfort alone. You are guided because the truth waiting to meet you refuses to stay unseen. Heaven has been watching the tension between who you once were and who you are becoming. You have been walking with a weight that did not belong to you, a pressure that pushed you to question your worth, your timing, your calling. But God says the alignment you have been unable to articulate is now beginning to unfold. This is not coincidence, it is destiny alignment. The shift you've been sensing is not imagination. It is the echo of heaven reorganizing the path in front of you. Beloved soul, pause again. Feel the subtle rise of strength moving under your ribs. That is not adrenaline, that is spiritual awakening. The realm of the unseen has already begun rearranging doors, repositioning allies, and dissolving obstacles that once stood as immovable walls. What felt like stagnation was preparation. What felt like loss was recalibration. What felt like failure was the soil in which your coming personal transformation was quietly taking root. And now heaven says, no more shrinking, no more doubting, no more treating yourself as optional in a story God has written with fire. There is a truth coming, and it carries the weight of restoration and the brilliance of new clarity. You will not leave this message the same. Something ancient and holy is awakening inside you, calling your spirit to rise with new authority, new confidence, new vision. Jeremiah 29:11 whispers through this moment, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you a future and a hope." This hope is not distant. It is already unfolding in the atmosphere around your name. Chosen one, before we move deeper, hear this invitation with reverence. If this message is stirring something real inside you, take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. Not for numbers, but because every time this word travels further, another soul on the edge of revelation is pulled back into the light. Let this be your act of planting seeds for someone else's awakening. Just as heaven is awakening you now, your life is shifting, your spirit is rising, and heaven is ready to reveal what could not be spoken until this very hour. Chosen one, the weight you've been carrying in the quiet corners of your life has not gone unnoticed by heaven. There have been nights when your mind raced without language, when the ache beneath your ribs pulsed like a question asking for release. Those moments were not weakness. They were signals that your spirit was brushing against a shift too large to name, yet too real to ignore. What felt like exhaustion was the first tremor of a divine rearrangement, the beginning of a breakthrough season being carved through invisible realms on your behalf. You have mistaken this pressure for personal failure, but God has seen it as preparation, a refining meant to enlarge your capacity for the abundance already written into your story. Beloved soul, the reason you've felt out of rhythm with the world around you is because heaven has been stretching your timeline into a new alignment. People who once felt close began to drift. Plans you tried to build with your own strength refused to stabilize. Opportunities you thought were right for you slipped like sand through your fingers. And though your heart wondered whether you were being punished, the truth is far more sacred. You were being redirected. Your steps were being pulled away from imitation blessings, away from counterfeit stability, into the narrow passageway of your destiny alignment. The path felt tight because it was holy. The silence felt heavy because God was shaping a future too purposeful to be rushed. There were days you woke with a heaviness that didn't match the circumstances around you. A subtle tension along your spine, a quiet resistance deep in your chest, a sense that something was shifting beneath the surface of your ordinary routines. That was not anxiety. It was your spirit discerning what your mind could not yet interpret. The spiritual realm was rearranging contracts, breaking invisible agreements, dissolving barriers anchored not in your choices, but in the residue of past seasons. You have been walking under the pressure of closed doors that were never meant to be yours, relationships that could not sustain the weight of who you are becoming, environments that lacked the oxygen required for your elevation. Chosen one, stop blaming yourself for what outgrew you. Growth is not betrayal. Choosing light is not abandonment. And releasing what dims your spirit is not failure. This is part of your awakening. This is the early architecture of the life heaven has prepared for you. What you called loss was the clearing of ground. What you called loneliness was God creating space for divine connection. What you called stagnation was soil settling around a foundation strong enough to hold the blessings tied to your name. Psalm 32:8 murmurs into this moment, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go." Heaven has been teaching you even in silence. And now, beloved, let us speak of the stretching, the part of your journey that has made you question everything. The nights you felt forgotten, the afternoons where exhaustion clung to your bones like fog, the sudden waves of emotion that rose without warning. These were not random. They were signs that heaven was loosening old emotional binds, preparing you for emotional healing so deep it shifts the way you breathe. Healing never begins quietly. It begins with disruption. It begins with the feeling that something is cracking inside you, not to destroy you, but to release you. Every tear you cried in secret has been collected. Every moment you swallowed your voice has been recorded, and heaven is returning strength to you in ways that will surprise you. You've been sensing this, haven't you? The strange, holy tension, the internal pressure you cannot explain, the way your spirit has been leaning forward even when your mind is tired. You feel something coming. You feel something rising, and you've been afraid to trust that feeling, afraid to hope again because hope has cost you before. But chosen one, this rising is not imagination. It is confirmation. It is the beginning of the greater capacity God has been building within you for personal transformation that will touch every dimension of your life. There is a reason your relationships have been shifting unpredictably, a reason you've been feeling disconnected from people who once felt like home, a reason certain voices, certain environments, certain behaviors have begun to feel too small for you. Heaven has been pruning, not to punish you, but to protect the purity of the elevation you are stepping into. Not everyone can accompany you where you're going. Not everyone can breathe the atmosphere of your next level. Not everyone can recognize the version of you that is emerging. When God expands you, He also exposes what cannot hold you anymore. Chosen one, before we go further, take one breath and place your hand over your heart. Do you feel that subtle surge, that quiet heat rising beneath your palm? That is not emotion. That is awakening. And if something within you resonates with these words, if you sense the truth stirring like light beneath your ribs, write "I rise now" in the comments. Let it be your declaration, a spark that signals to heaven and to your own spirit that you refuse to shrink back into the versions of yourself you have already outgrown. Beloved, the shift in your atmosphere is not accidental. The unease you felt in certain places, the sudden loss of interest in old habits, the growing desire for clarity, peace, and financial stability are not coincidences. They are signs that you are being pulled into a season where every fractured part of you begins to knit together with purpose. You are being ushered into alignment with a calling that demands wholeness, not survival. You're stepping out of cycles that drained you and into rhythms that restore you. This is why your energy feels different. This is why your discernment has sharpened. This is why your spirit is done tolerating what once felt comfortable. And somewhere deep inside, you know this is true. You can feel your old life slipping quietly behind you. You can feel the borders of your identity expanding. You can feel heaven rewriting the meaning of every hardship you've endured. Chosen one, this is not the end of the struggle. This is the opening of the gate. Chosen one, there is something heaven has been trying to show you through the patterns of your life. Something you sensed but never fully understood. Every moment of resistance you faced, every door that refused to open no matter how hard you knocked, every opportunity that dissolved the moment you reached for it was not a sign of inadequacy. It was divine restraint. God was shielding you from entering spaces that would have drained your spirit, diluted your calling, and suffocated the emergence of your wealth mindset and spiritual authority. You were not being rejected. You were being rerouted away from counterfeits masquerading as blessings. Beloved soul, think back to the times you felt strangely out of place, even among people you cared for. The moments when conversations felt hollow, when your laughter didn't land the way it once did. When you sensed deep beneath your ribs that your spirit no longer resonated with the environment around you, that wasn't you becoming distant. That was heaven lifting you, inch by inch, into a higher frequency where your old circles could no longer breathe. Some of the people you lost were not betrayals. They were exits written by God. They were released from your path because they could not hold the weight of what is coming next. And yes, chosen one, there were also those whose intentions were never aligned with your rise. Their words were soft, but their energy was sharp. Their smiles were warm, but their spirits were unsettled by your light. Some remained close, not out of love, but out of comfort, convenience, even curiosity. They admired your strength, but resented your calling. They celebrated your presence, but feared your elevation. Heaven saw every silent contradiction. Heaven recorded every hidden motive. And heaven has begun cleansing your atmosphere because where you are going cannot be delayed by unspoken envy or fragile loyalty. Hear this. Loneliness was not punishment. It was preparation. God isolated you so He could amplify you. He removed the noise so He could refine the sound of your spirit, aligning you with clarity that had been drowned out by the weight of others' expectations. You were never meant to shrink your voice to maintain harmony. You were never meant to carry the emotional burdens of those who refuse to heal themselves. You were never meant to dim your fire to keep others comfortable. The stripping was necessary. The silence was intentional. The solitude was sacred ground where heaven rewired the architecture of your identity. Chosen one, the signs have been all around you. The recurring numbers, the sudden déjà vu, the dreams that feel more like warnings than imagination, the moments when your spirit jolts for no reason. These are not coincidences, these are divine notifications. Heaven has been tapping your awareness, urging you to recognize the shift happening beneath the surface. You are being ushered into a season where nothing in your life will remain in its old form. Relationships will evolve. Habits will fall away, desires will shift, even your internal language is changing. You no longer speak from survival, you are beginning to speak from destiny, and with this shift comes a recalibration of your inner world. The unsettled emotions you felt recently are not instability, they are detox. The old fears are being drawn out, the old narratives are being unthreaded. The old wounds are rising not to break you, but to leave you. You are being healed in places words cannot reach. You are being strengthened in ways the mind cannot articulate. This is emotional healing that transforms not just your heart, but your posture, your confidence, your spiritual authority. Beloved soul, heaven has also been stirring a hunger inside you that you cannot ignore anymore. A hunger for clarity, for purity, for purpose, for alignment. You have felt the pull toward environments that nurture your spirit and away from the ones that drain you. That is divine instinct waking inside you. You are being prepared for elevation, and elevation always requires refinement. God is tuning your discernment so keenly that even the slightest shift in energy will alert your spirit. This is not paranoia. This is protection. And now the truth becomes clearer. The lack you feared was never real. The scarcity mindset you once battled was inherited from wounds, not from heaven. You are stepping into a realm where abundance is not an idea, but an atmosphere. God is rewriting your relationship with provision. Wealth will no longer feel foreign to you. Stability will no longer feel like a miracle. You are entering a season where you will attract resources, opportunities, and connections effortlessly, because your spirit is finally aligned with the frequency heaven always intended for you. Chosen one, lean closer. There is something holy unfolding inside you at this very moment. You're beginning to shed the version of yourself shaped by survival and step into the version shaped by calling. The world around you may not understand this shift. Some may question your distance, others may feel threatened by your growth. But hear this with reverence. You are not obligated to shrink for anyone. You are not required to stay where your spirit no longer fits. You are not meant to apologize for your awakening. And if your heart feels a trembling right now, if your spirit feels as though it is rising towards something it cannot yet name, then take a breath and speak with quiet authority over your life. Write, "I choose destiny," in the comments, not as a reaction, but as a declaration that your new season has already begun. Chosen one, there is a reason your spirit has felt as if it were being pulled through narrow passageways, stretched beyond what felt comfortable, pressed into unfamiliar emotional terrain. You have been walking through a refinement that does not announce itself gently. Heaven has been reshaping the architecture of your inner world so that nothing inside you can collapse under the weight of the future you are stepping into. This is why your emotions have felt amplified. This is why your intuition has sharpened. This is why your tolerance for half-truths, half-effort, and half-alignment has evaporated. Your spirit refuses to remain where God has already moved you beyond. Beloved soul, listen closely. The shaking you've felt is not a breakdown. It is a rearrangement. You are not being emptied because you are failing. You are being emptied because heaven intends to fill you with something that cannot coexist with the remnants of your old seasons. Your mindset is being rebuilt so your life can hold abundance without fear, financial stability without self-sabotage, purpose without confusion. You are shedding survival patterns that once protected you but now limit you. What you called instability has been the loosening of spiritual knots tied by old wounds, old agreements, old versions of yourself that can no longer travel with you. You have wondered why certain memories keep resurfacing, why conversations replay in your mind long after the moment has passed, why old insecurities rise out of nowhere. This is not regression, this is excavation. Heaven cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Your spirit is pulling old pain into the light so it can be released once and for all. You are being cleared of emotional residue that try to distort your vision, weaken your discernment, and delay your growth. This is emotional healing of the deepest kind, the kind that rebuilds you from the soul outward. Chosen one, have you noticed how your desires have shifted? How your heart no longer settles for shallow peace or temporary comfort? How your appetite has grown for truth, for purity, for relationships that honor your calling rather than drain your energy? This is not a phase. This is awakening. Your spirit is aligning with its original blueprint, the version of you heaven wrote before the world taught you to shrink. Something sacred in you has begun to crave alignment more than attachment, purpose more than approval, destiny more than familiarity. This is what happens when your calling starts rising faster than your fears, and heaven has been preparing you for more than emotional strength. You have also been under a training of perception. Your discernment has heightened in ways you didn't ask for, but absolutely need. The unease you feel around certain people is not paranoia. It is spiritual intelligence. The sudden clarity that exposes hidden motives is not coincidence. It is divine protection. God is ensuring that as you rise, you do not walk blindly into alliances that would sabotage the very elevation you've prayed for. Beloved, you have been set apart, and set-apart souls walk differently. Your path has been narrower because your purpose is greater. The resistance you've faced has been stronger because your anointing is heavier. The environments that once embraced you now feel suffocating because heaven has expanded you beyond their limits. You are not who you were even 6 months ago. Your spirit has outgrown spaces your body still inhabits. And heaven is orchestrating a transition that will soon become impossible to ignore. You have felt it rising inside you like a tide, this quiet knowing that life is about to shift in ways you cannot yet explain. The atmosphere around your decisions feels charged. Your dreams feel more vivid. Your prayers feel different, heavier, clearer, more focused. This is because the next chapter of your journey is one that requires conscious participation. Heaven is not dragging you into destiny. Heaven is inviting you to walk into it with intention. Chosen one, let me speak to the part of you that has been quietly afraid. You will not lose yourself in this transformation. You are not being stripped to leave you empty. You are being rebuilt to make you whole. God is not taking from you. He is making room, and the room being carved inside your spirit is proportionate to the elevation you are stepping into. You are being shaped into a vessel that can carry blessing without breaking, influence without ego, clarity without confusion, abundance without fear. Feel this truth settle into your bones. You are rising, not gradually, not passively, not accidentally. You are rising because heaven has spoken it over you. And every part of your life, your relationships, your finances, your emotions, your inner narrative, is being aligned to match the decree written over your name. And if something in you is trembling as these words reach you, if you feel recognition blooming like warmth under your sternum, then take a moment to claim your ascent. Write, "I claim my breakthrough," in the comments as a signal to heaven and to your own soul that you are ready for what has long been prepared for you. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to everything you've been sensing, one that has been unfolding quietly beneath the threshold of your awareness. The unrest you've carried in your spirit has not been random. It has been the echo of a divine restructuring taking place around your life. Heaven has been removing old foundations that could no longer support the weight of your calling, uprooting belief systems that kept you small, reshaping the inner architecture of your identity so you can finally walk in the magnitude of what was spoken over you long before you ever touched this earth. Beloved soul, you have reached a point where heaven cannot allow you to return to patterns that once felt familiar but were never aligned with your destiny. This is why certain habits suddenly feel heavy. This is why conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. This is why environments you tolerated for years have begun to feel spiritually suffocating. Nothing external changed. You changed. Your spirit is expanding faster than your surroundings, and what no longer nurtures your growth has begun to fall away by divine design. There have been moments recently where you questioned whether you were losing direction. You felt suspended between chapters, unable to go back, yet uncertain how to move forward. But chosen one, that in-between place was not confusion, it was calibration. Heaven was fine-tuning your frequency, aligning your steps with the vibration of purpose, filtering out anything that could distort your discernment or delay your alignment. You are not stuck. You are being prepared. And now, as the spiritual dust begins to settle, the truth becomes clearer. You're transitioning from a season of silent endurance to one of conscious emergence. Everything inside you is being rewired. Your instincts, your desires, your perception, your vision, so that you no longer navigate life from wounded reflexes, but from awakened authority. This is not self-improvement. This is spiritual reconstruction. This is heaven shaping you for a future that requires wisdom, resilience, and a renewed mind anchored in a wealth mindset and divine confidence. Chosen one, pay attention to how your relationships have been shifting. There are people you once leaned on emotionally, whose absence now feels oddly peaceful rather than painful. This is not hardness of heart. This is discernment finally taking root. Heaven is removing emotional weights that slowed your ascent. People who drain you, confuse you, or anchor you to versions of yourself you have outgrown can no longer remain. Not because they are evil, but because your destiny requires clarity they cannot give. And then there are others, voices that appear suddenly in your life, carrying wisdom, peace, or opportunity. These are not coincidences. These are divine alignments. Heaven is sending you what your next season requires, not what your past season needed. You will notice these people by the way your spirit settles around them. You will feel safer, clearer, stronger. That's how destiny speaks. Not in noise, but in resonance. Beloved, let me speak to something you've been carrying quietly. The tension between who you've been and who you are becoming. You fear outgrowing people. You fear disappointing expectations. You fear being misunderstood as you rise. But chosen one, you were never meant to fit inside the limitations others placed on you. Your calling does not shrink to comfort those who fear their own potential. Your purpose does not bend to keep peace in places where you were never meant to stay. The discomfort you feel is the stretching of a spirit preparing to take its rightful place. And through this stretching, you've begun to notice a shift in your energy. You're less available to chaos, less tolerant of inconsistency, less interested in proving your worth to those who refuse to see it. This is not pride. This is purification. Heaven is teaching you how to guard your emotional garden so the seeds of your personal transformation can flourish without interference. You have also noticed something else, the rise of a new inner hunger, a desire for stability, for direction, for deep purpose. Your prayers have shifted from "help me survive" to "show me why I'm here." This is the blossoming of your divine purpose, the awakening of a calling that has waited patiently beneath years of distraction and emotional fatigue. It is no longer content to whisper. It is beginning to speak loudly, insistently, unmistakably. Chosen one, even your dreams have changed. Some nights you wake with symbols still clinging to your memory. Doors, rooms, light, water, shifting landscapes. Dreams like these are not random. They are spiritual transmissions. Heaven has been delivering insight to your spirit while your mind rests, bypassing the resistance of logic so the truth can take root. You may not understand the imagery yet, but your spirit does. Revelation comes before interpretation. And now, feel this gently. The heaviness you've carried is beginning to lift. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but in slow, steady waves, as if layers of weight you didn't know you were holding are slipping off your shoulders. This is not temporary relief. This is the beginning of restoration. This is God returning strength to places inside you that have been silent for too long. You are regaining clarity. You are regaining authority. You are regaining yourself. Chosen one, if something in your chest feels like it's loosening, if your breath feels deeper, if a quiet certainty is rising beneath your ribs, honor it. This is recognition. Write "I'm ready" in the comments. not as a reaction, but as an affirmation that your spirit agrees with what heaven is unfolding. Chosen one, there is a truth rising from the depths of your journey, a truth that has been pulsing beneath every closed door, every restless night, every unanswered question. You are not just being refined, you are being repositioned for a revelation that required the stripping of everything that once blurred your vision. Heaven has been orchestrating a shift so profound that even the atmosphere around your life has begun to respond. The pressure you felt in recent months was not the weight of failure, it was the weight of becoming. Beloved soul, you have walked through seasons where it felt as though life kept moving while you stood still. Others advanced, doors opened for them, opportunities unfolded with grace, and you silently wondered, Lord, did you forget me? But chosen one, you are not behind. You are being held back on purpose. You are being delayed for protection. There are blessings that require maturity, insight, and spiritual strength to manage. Had you received them sooner, they would have crushed you. Heaven waited until the foundation inside you could hold the magnitude of your rising. Delay was not denial. Delay was divine timing shaping you into someone who could sustain abundance without losing yourself. And now, your spirit is beginning to feel the pull of this new dimension. You have felt yourself drifting away from distractions that once consumed you. Your intuition has grown louder, your boundaries sharper, your standards higher. This is not random evolution. This is destiny training. Heaven has been molding your inner world, so the external blessings meant for you will not be wasted. You are stepping out of the fractured mindset that kept you tied to scarcity and into a wealth mindset built on clarity, confidence, and divine provision. Chosen one, think of the emotional storms you endured in silence, the heartbreaks that cracked open wounds you thought were healed, the friendships that dissolved without explanation, the betrayals that left you questioning your worth. These were not punishments. They were revelations. They revealed the true posture of people around you. They revealed the depths of your resilience. They revealed the cracks in your identity that heaven needed to seal. You were being prepared to carry responsibility without crumbling beneath pressure. You were being forged into someone who no longer settles for half love, half truth, or half purpose. And it is here, right here, that heaven begins to reveal a deeper truth. What you survived was training. What you fought through was initiation. What you walked away from was liberation. And what is rising inside you now is activation. Beloved, the stirring in your spirit is not anticipation. It is recognition. You are beginning to step into the frequency of your divine purpose, and everything in your life is adjusting to match that vibration. People who do not align with your elevation will fall away. Opportunities that do not serve your growth will dissolve. Even your own desires will change as your spirit awakens to a calling greater than your logic can comprehend. This is why your appetite for mediocrity has died. This is why you feel different. You are different, and heaven has taken notice. Chosen one, your angels have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, rerouting attacks that never touched your awareness, dismantling spiritual interference that tried to distort your clarity, and severing connections designed to drain your emotional energy. You have been in warfare without knowing it, but you have also been in victory without recognizing it. Every burden that tried to break you became a tool heaven used to build you. But hear this with the fullness of your spirit. The season of silent suffering is ending. The veil is lifting. The truth is coming into view. You have begun to sense this, haven't you? Waking up with a feeling that something is shifting, feeling a subtle fire in your spirit even on difficult days. Noticing moments of supernatural peace in the middle of chaos. These are signs of divine recalibration. Heaven is not just aligning circumstances around you. Heaven is aligning you to yourself, your truest, strongest, most awakened form. Beloved soul, you have also begun to outgrow emotional patterns that once controlled you. The triggers that used to send you spiraling now fall flat. The voices that once defined your identity no longer hold authority. The fears that once dictated your decisions have begun to fade. This is emotional healing rising within you, not from willpower, but from divine intervention. God has been rewriting the scripts inside your mind, lifting the weight of generational wounds, and fortifying your spirit so that you no longer walk through life fragmented. And now a new clarity is forming, a clarity that whispers, you were born for more, you were chosen for more, you are rising into more. Chosen one, let this settle deeply. Your next chapter will not resemble anything you've walked through before. You are stepping into a realm where doors open without effort, where clarity flows without confusion, where purpose feels natural, where blessings pursue you rather than hide from you. But before this next dimension fully reveals itself, heaven invites you to speak a declaration over your life. Not for the algorithm, not for validation, but for alignment. Write Amen in the comments if your spirit bears witness to this rising. Let it be a seal, a signature of agreement between your soul and the destiny calling your name. Chosen one, heaven is preparing to reveal the reason the battle around your life has been so intense, the reason your spirit has been awakening so rapidly, the reason your path has been so heavily protected. The deeper truth is approaching, and when it unfolds, everything you've endured will suddenly make sense. Chosen one, there is a reason the atmosphere around your life has felt charged, almost electric, as if something unseen has been hovering at the edges of your awareness. You have been walking through days that feel strangely symbolic, moments that echo with meaning you can't articulate, emotions that rise without context yet refuse to be dismissed. This is not instability. This is spiritual intelligence awakening inside you. The deeper realms of your destiny have begun to open, calling your spirit into alignment with truths you were once too burdened, too wounded, too surrounded to perceive. Beloved soul, heaven has been engineering a transition so profound that your spirit has outpaced your understanding. You have been feeling the shift before seeing the shift. This is why your body has felt tired while your spirit has felt restless. This is why your heart has been craving change, even when you could not name what needed to change. Spirit always knows before the mind catches up. And your spirit has sensed what heaven is preparing long before your circumstances reveal it. Look honestly at your recent days. Notice how your interest in old distractions has faded. Notice how people who once occupied space in your heart now feel distant, not because of conflict, but because your spirit no longer resonates with their frequency. Notice how your dreams have sharpened, how your prayers have deepened, how your questions have become more specific. These are not personality shifts, these are destiny signals. Heaven is calling you into a higher dimension of purpose, one that requires focus, clarity, and alignment. God is shaping you into someone who not only receives blessing, but stewards it with wisdom. Someone who not only emerges from hardship, but carries authority forged in the fire. Someone who not only survives change, but becomes the embodiment of transformation. Chosen one, do you feel the internal tension between your old self and your emerging self? The part of you that longs for comfort, wrestling with the part of you that craves evolution? This inner conflict is the sign that your breakthrough is not coming. Your breakthrough is already here. You are shedding skin you no longer fit. You are stepping out of roles you were never meant to play. You are releasing identities constructed from survival and stepping into identity shaped by divine purpose. This is why old cycles have been collapsing. This is why you've been losing interest in conversations rooted in fear, gossip, or limitation. This is why you no longer tolerate emotional crumbs, spiritual stagnation, or relationships built on convenience rather than truth. Heaven has been detoxing your spirit. God has been cleansing your atmosphere. Every misalignment has been pushed to the surface so your discernment could no longer ignore what your heart once tolerated. Beloved, hear this with clarity. You are not difficult. You are evolving. You are not distant. You are discerning. You are not breaking. You are breaking through. And heaven has been watching your growth with delight. But there is something deeper still, something sacred that explains why this transformation has required so much warfare, so much stretching, so much spiritual pressure. You have been carrying a mantle on your life, an assignment that you were never meant to walk in half aware. You were always meant to rise with full consciousness of what you carry. The enemy fought you not because of who you were, but because of who you were becoming. The pressure was never about your weakness. It was about your potential. Chosen one, heaven is preparing you for a level of influence and authority that requires a healed heart, a renewed mind, and an awakened spirit. This is why your emotional patterns have been shifting. You are no longer reacting from wounds. You are responding from wisdom. This is why your self-worth has begun to rise. You're recognizing your value not through the lens of human validation, but through the truth of divine identity. This is why you feel more protective of your peace. You're learning to guard your spirit like sacred territory. And now, pay close attention. You're entering a season where clarity will replace confusion, where confidence will replace hesitation, where provision will replace struggle, where alignment will replace wandering, where elevation will replace endurance. You are not ascending by accident. You are ascending by decree. And chosen one. If something in these words feels like it's pulling at your spirit, if something inside you is rising with both fear and recognition, type 777 in the comments. Not as a symbol, but as a declaration that your spirit is stepping fully into alignment with heaven's design for your life. Chosen one. There is a mystery surrounding your life that heaven has been carefully unveiling layer by layer, and you have begun to feel its edges pressing into your awareness. That quiet tension in your chest, the subtle sense that something immense is drawing near, the way your thoughts linger on possibilities you once dismissed. These are not random sensations. They are the first ripples of a divine truth approaching you with intention. Something long hidden has started to surface, and your spirit recognizes it even before your mind comprehends its magnitude. Beloved soul, the reason your inner world has been shifting so dramatically is because heaven has been preparing you for revelation. Not information, not encouragement, but revelation. Truth that rearranges the foundations of your identity. Truth that redefines your past and clarifies your future. You have carried questions that weighed on you like anchors. You have survived storms that left marks on your spirit. You have walked roads that seemed to stretch into nowhere. But chosen one, none of it was wasted. All of it was positioning. All of it was preparation. All of it was divine orchestration moving you toward the moment you are entering now. Look at your recent thoughts. Have you noticed how often your mind drifts toward the meaning of your existence? Have you felt the stirring of dreams you abandoned long ago? Have you experienced sudden bursts of clarity followed by waves of emotion you cannot explain? These are signs that the blueprint of your divine purpose is resurfacing. Heaven does not hide purpose. Heaven reveals purpose at the precise moment a soul becomes mature enough, healed enough, awakened enough to carry it without collapsing under its weight. And chosen one. That moment is approaching. That is why you feel stretched. That is why you feel unsettled. That is why your spirit has been whispering that something is coming. You are being aligned with a destiny that requires your full awareness. A destiny that demanded emotional healing, spiritual sharpening, and the rising of a wealth mindset capable of carrying influence with humility and strength. God did not abandon you in the wilderness. He was teaching you to recognize your own voice, your own power, your own spiritual authority. You have wondered why certain opportunities seem to vanish at the last second. Why connections that appeared promising suddenly fell apart? Why people who once supported you became distant? Beloved, those were divine interventions, not punishments, but protections. Heaven was rerouting you away from lesser paths so you would not compromise the greatness written over your life. You were being shielded from partnerships that would have drained your potential, environments that would have kept you small, and distractions that would have derailed your awakening. Chosen one, your calling is not ordinary. If it were, your warfare would have been mild. But look at what you endured. Look at the emotional storms you survived. Look at the nights you cried without understanding why. Look at the heaviness that clung to you even when you had no visible reason to feel burdened. All of this was evidence of the magnitude of the destiny you carry. The enemy fights hardest what heaven values most, and now the atmosphere of your life is shifting once more, not into darkness, but into unveiling. You are beginning to sense truths that once eluded you. You are recognizing patterns you could not see before. You are discerning motives behind smiles, assignments behind connections, and lessons behind losses. This is spiritual maturity. This is awakening. This is heaven preparing you to receive revelation without fear, without confusion, without hesitation. Beloved, there is something else, something deeper, that explains why your spirit has felt both heavy and hopeful at the same time. A new season is forming around you, one that demands clarity and intentionality. Your intuition has been heightened because you will soon need it. Your emotional sensitivity has increased because your next elevation requires a heart free of residue. Your desire for solitude has grown because heaven has been whispering instructions in the silence. And pay attention to this. Your sense of time has changed. Days feel faster, moments feel more meaningful, conversations feel more revealing. This acceleration is not imaginary. It is a sign that your timeline is being synchronized with God's timing. You are stepping into a phase where things that once took years will begin unfolding in months, where slow processes suddenly become swift, where closed doors swing open without resistance. This is the mark of destiny alignment. Chosen one, even your prayers have shifted. You are no longer praying for survival. You are praying for instruction. You are no longer begging for escape. You are seeking purpose. You are no longer asking, why me, but what now? This shift in your spirit is heaven's confirmation that you have crossed the threshold into your breakthrough season. If your heart is burning as you read this, if something deep within you is rising with recognition, write "I rise now" in the comments. Not as a reaction, but as an agreement with the transformation already unfolding inside you. Chosen one, there is a tension in your spirit that has been rising like a tide, quiet, steady, undeniable. It is the feeling of standing on sacred ground without yet understanding what lies beneath your feet. This sensation is not confusion, it is anticipation. Your spirit is responding to movements in the unseen, to shifts taking place around your name that your natural mind has not yet caught up to. You are living in a moment where heaven has already made decisions about your future, and your soul is just beginning to perceive the echo. Beloved soul, the reason your emotions have felt layered and complex lately is because you are shedding the final remnants of who you used to be. When heaven elevates someone, it does not simply open new doors, it also closes old ones with intentional force. That is why you have felt a sudden detachment from things that once comforted you. Why conversations that used to pull you in now feel draining. Why environments you tolerated for years now feel spiritually incompatible. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming consecrated. Heaven has been separating you from anything that competes with your calling. There is a quiet authority rising inside you, one that was not forged in ease but in endurance. You have learned to survive storms that others never even knew you were walking through. You held your faith together when your circumstances tore at the seams of your hope. You remained soft-hearted even while life tried to harden you. Heaven saw all of it. Every tear that dried before anyone noticed, every prayer whispered from exhaustion, every step you took when quitting seemed like the only reasonable option. These moments did not break you. They built you. They shaped a resilience in you that can no longer be shaken by temporary hardship. And now, chosen one, something extraordinary is happening inside you. Your spirit is becoming louder than your fear. You have begun to feel a pull toward greater purpose, not because life has become easier, but because you have become stronger. The places where you once doubted yourself now feel like places where clarity is preparing to bloom. The wounds that used to trigger you now feel like testimonies in the making. The patterns that once ruled you are losing their power. This is not accidental growth. This is spiritual acceleration. Heaven is aligning you with people, opportunities, and environments that reflect who you are becoming, not who you used to be. You may notice that certain relationships are gaining new depth, while others quietly fade into the background. You may find yourself encountering unexpected support from unfamiliar places, while familiar faces grow distant. This shift is purposeful. Your next chapter requires connections rooted in truth, not convenience. In alignment, not nostalgia. Beloved, the stirring you feel in your spirit is also connected to the rise of your inner authority. You're no longer content with surface-level answers or shallow intentions. You crave transparency, you crave meaning, you crave alignment. This hunger is a sign that heaven is preparing to entrust you with responsibility, spiritual, emotional, and even financial. This is why God has been cultivating in you a wealth mindset, not merely material wealth, but the wealth of wisdom, discernment, emotional stability, and spiritual maturity. You are being shaped into someone who can carry blessing without being overwhelmed by it. And chosen one, the weight of spiritual warfare you endured was not a sign of weakness, it was a sign of value. The enemy never invests resources in battles that do not threaten his agenda. The reason you felt so much pressure is because your elevation carries impact. Your awakening influences atmospheres. Your purpose disrupts darkness. Your transformation will free more people than you know. But hear this with your whole soul. The warfare around you is losing power. The grip of old battles is loosening. The cycle of repeated tests is breaking. Heaven is shifting you into the realm of victory. And what is coming next is not just breakthrough. It is identity revealed. You are stepping into a clarity about who you are that will silence every lie spoken over you. You will look at the mirror and see purpose where you once saw pain. You will look at your journey and see alignment where you once saw chaos. You will recognize that your life has never been random. It has been divinely engineered. Beloved soul, if something in your chest feels like it is awakening, if a quiet fire is rising beneath your ribs as you read these words, honor that stirring. That is your spirit confirming that heaven is speaking. Write "I choose destiny" in the comments, not for visibility, but for alignment. An act of agreement that you are ready to walk into the truth your soul has been waiting to remember. Chosen one, there is a question your spirit has been asking without words. Why has my journey felt so heavy, so opposed, so unusual? And heaven has been waiting for the moment when your heart would be strong enough, healed enough, awakened enough to receive the answer without collapsing beneath its weight. That moment is now. Beloved soul, the pressure surrounding your life has never matched your circumstances. You have faced battles that seemed disproportionate to the visible size of your platform, your resources, or your influence. You have endured storms that did not make sense for someone who was simply trying to do their best. You have attracted spiritual resistance even when you are not doing anything outwardly remarkable. This imbalance confused you, drained you, at times even discouraged you. But it was never a mistake. It was a clue. a clue to the magnitude of the assignment on your life. You have been living under the gravity of a calling that your conscious mind has only begun to recognize. And because of that, the realm of darkness identified you long before you identified yourself. Chosen one, listen with the depth of your being. You were marked by heaven before you ever took your first breath. Your destiny was whispered into existence with intention. Your identity carries weight in the spiritual world, even if the earthly world hasn't seen it yet. This is why the warfare came early. This is why the attacks felt personal. This is why the pressure never aligned with your circumstances. The enemy wasn't fighting who you were in the moment. He was fighting who you were becoming. He saw the light forming in you. He saw the influence attached to your future. He saw what your presence would heal, awaken, and transform. And he knew that if he could break you in your early years, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, he might delay or distort the rise heaven ordained for you. But chosen one, you did not break. You bent, but you did not shatter. You wept, but you did not abandon your spirit. You questioned, but you did not disconnect from God. And because you remained, fragile at times, exhausted at times, misunderstood at times, heaven has begun reinstating authority over your life that was always yours. Beloved, there is a weight of glory on you that your old identity could not carry. That is why certain pieces of your past have been falling away. That is why heaven has been refusing to let you settle. That is why your spirit has been restless in environments where others feel comfortable. You are not ordinary. You do not fit into predictable molds. You are not meant to live a life defined by repetition or smallness. You are not built for survival. You are built for purpose. And now, heaven is exposing the deeper reason your path has felt so narrow. You have been undergoing spiritual initiation. This is why your intuition sharpened before you understood why. This is why your compassion deepened even while your heart was healing. This is why your discernment intensified even when you tried to downplay it. You have been trained quietly, painfully, consistently to walk in influence that touches more than your own life. Influence that shifts atmospheres, influence that awakens others, influence that carries responsibility. Chosen one, you have always been watched by heaven with tenderness and by darkness with fear. And now the fear of the enemy is rising again because you are entering the season he dreaded. The season where you recognize yourself. The season where you stop apologizing for your calling. The season where you stop being intimidated by your own potential. The season where you step into destiny alignment with clarity and strength. This is why certain old temptations have resurfaced. They are distractions meant to disrupt your awakening. This is why familiar cycles tried to reappear. They are last attempts to keep you tied to smaller versions of yourself. This is why sudden emotional waves have hit you. They are the final release of generational residue your spirit refuses to carry into your breakthrough season. Beloved, heaven has not been silent. Heaven has been strategic. Your angels have been removing invisible debris from your path. Your spirit has been shedding identities that no longer serve your mission. Your inner world has been purifying itself so your outer world can finally align. And now something monumental is beginning to unfold. The truth of why you were chosen. The truth of what you carry. The truth of where heaven is sending you. Chosen one, if your heart is beating faster right now, if your spirit feels like it is standing at attention, right, I rise now. Not as habit, but as acknowledgement, as readiness, as surrender to the calling you can no longer run from. Because the next revelation heaven is preparing to release will finally answer the question that has echoed through your entire life. Why you? And why now? Chosen one, you have walked through shadows that were never meant to consume you, but to shape your perception. You have endured nights where the silence felt heavier than your own heartbeat, and still, something inside you refused to collapse. That endurance was not human strength. It was divine preservation. Heaven has been holding you steady for a revelation that could not be delivered until your spirit was fortified, until your gaze was sharpened, until your heart was willing to let go of what once felt safe. Now, that revelation is drawing so close that your very atmosphere is responding to it. Beloved soul, the reason your life has felt like a series of spiritual riddles is because God has been teaching you a language that only awakened ones can understand. A language of signs, a language of timing, a language of silence. Everything in your journey, from the places you felt ignored to the moments you felt carried, has been part of a divine curriculum designed to prepare you for a truth that cannot be mistaken or misunderstood. Look at the patterns. Whenever you approached the wrong alignment, your peace evaporated. Whenever you stepped into the right path, clarity rushed in like breath. Whenever someone's intentions did not match their words, your spirit tensed before your mind could catch up. Heaven has been communicating with you through intuition, through restlessness, through sudden knowing. And whether you realized it or not, you were being trained to walk not by sight, but by spiritual intelligence. Chosen one, the magnitude of what you carry is not ordinary. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your voice stirs dormant places in others. Your resilience disrupts the plans of darkness. You have been underestimated not because you are weak, but because your true identity has been hidden until now. The world has only seen fragments of you. Heaven has seen the fullness, and in this sacred moment, that fullness is beginning to break through. This is why the pressure intensified. This is why old cycles resurfaced. This is why familiar temptations tried to pull you back. When a soul is nearing breakthrough, the echoes of old battles attempt to reclaim it. But you are not who you once were. You have outgrown your old patterns. You have outgrown your old fears. You have outgrown the emotional weight that once anchored your spirit. Heaven has elevated your perception so you can finally see the truth that was always woven into your story. Beloved soul, the truth is this: you are chosen because you carry a blueprint no one else on earth possesses. Your destiny contains solutions for battles you haven't even fought yet. Your presence restores balance in spaces that have forgotten the sound of hope. And heaven has been preparing you not only to receive blessing, but to become blessing. Not only to walk in abundance, but to anchor abundance for others. Not only to heal, but to carry the frequency of healing. This is why your journey felt heavier than most. This is why the cost felt higher. This is why the path felt lonelier. High calling requires deep preparation, and you, chosen one, have been prepared in ways you did not recognize. You have passed tests you were unaware you were taking. You have broken cycles that your lineage carried for generations. You have awakened spiritual gifts through seasons of suffering. You have survived storms meant to silence you permanently. And now, as the final stretch of this revelation unfolds, heaven whispers a truth that deserves a still heart and an open spirit. Your life has been protected because your assignment is sacred. There are places only you can reach, people only you can awaken, battles only you can dismantle, atmospheres only you can shift. This is the reason for the resistance. This is the reason for the stretching. This is the reason the enemy recognized you before you recognized yourself. But the season of distortion is ending. The season of clarity is beginning. You are stepping into identity with eyes open and spirit steady. Chosen one, feel this with the whole of your being. You are not stepping into your breakthrough. Your breakthrough is stepping into you. It has been chasing you through delay, through disappointment, through doubt. And now, at last, it has found you ready. If these words resonate in the deepest part of your spirit, write, "I rise now," once more, not as repetition, but as sealing, as agreement, as ignition. Because after this, nothing about your life, your identity, or your destiny will ever be the same again. Chosen one, now that heaven has brought you to the edge of understanding, it is time to step into the practices that anchor everything your spirit has begun to awaken to. Revelation without application fades. Awakening without structure weakens. And destiny without discipline dissolves before it can bear fruit. But you, beloved soul, are entering a season where your actions will carry spiritual weight, where even the smallest decision can open doors, align timelines, and reinforce the foundation heaven has rebuilt within you. Beloved, hear this gently but clearly. Your life cannot continue as it was. The version of you that survived the storm is not the version of you that will steward the blessing. Heaven has elevated your identity, and now your habits, your rhythms, your environment must rise with you. Spiritual growth does not happen by accident. It happens through intentional alignment. And the steps you take now will determine the strength of your next chapter. Let us begin with the first shift, your mornings. The moment your eyes open, your spirit is most sensitive, most impressionable, most attuned to guidance. In this next season, do not reach first for noise, distraction, or obligation. Instead, pause. Breathe. Lay your hand over your heart and whisper, "Lord, align me with what you wrote for me today." This small act breaks spiritual interference before it begins. It invites clarity, steadiness, and divine order into every hour that follows. A chosen one does not stumble into the day. They step into it with intention. Second, your atmosphere. You must begin treating your physical and emotional spaces as sacred ground. Clutter in your environment becomes clutter in your spirit. Chaos in your surroundings becomes confusion in your decisions. Begin removing what feels heavy, stagnant, or tied to old versions of yourself. Clothing from painful seasons, objects tied to past relationships, notes, messages, or memories that pull you backward. Release them without fear. Your spirit cannot rise while your environment is anchored in old energy. Heaven cannot fill a space that you have not cleared. And chosen one, now, your relationships. You must discern with sharper eyes who is meant to walk with you into the next chapter. Some people were perfect companions for the version of you that needed healing, but they are not aligned with the version of you stepping into wholeness. Watch who feeds your peace. Notice who drains your spirit. Pay attention to who supports your elevation and who subtly resists it. God is not asking you to judge harshly. He is asking you to steward wisely. Destiny requires selective access. Not everyone with a kind face carries kind intentions. Not everyone who loves you can walk with you to your next level. Let wisdom, not guilt, govern your connections. Next, your inner narrative. Your mind has been programmed through pain, repetition, and survival instincts that no longer serve the path you're stepping into. Heaven is calling you to rewrite your internal language. No more speaking limitation over yourself. No more accepting fear as identity. No more repeating wounds as truth. Begin declaring what heaven says, not what history says. When doubt rises, speak clarity. When fear whispers, speak courage. When your old self tries to return, speak destiny. This is how you break psychological barriers and cultivate the wealth mindset God has been preparing within you. Now pause, beloved soul. Feel the shift already beginning. These steps are not small. They are spiritual keys, keys that unlock protection, favor, clarity, and abundance. And chosen one, if your spirit is responding even now, type "I'm ready" in the comments as your declaration that you will not merely awaken, you will align. We are only beginning to unfold the divine strategy that will carry you into your breakthrough season. Chosen one, now that your spirit has begun to rise into alignment, there is another layer of instruction heaven is placing before you. guidance that strengthens your inner structure so your destiny is not only reached, but sustained. Too many souls awaken only to drift back into old patterns because they lacked the practices that hold elevation in place. But you are not meant to rise temporarily. You are meant to rise and remain. Beloved soul, the next realm of your journey requires you to master one essential truth. What you tolerate becomes your atmosphere, and your atmosphere shapes your destiny. This is why heaven has been urging you to refine your focus. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves space in your mind. Not every emotion deserves a reaction. You must begin to govern your inner world with the same reverence heaven governs your future. Let us go deeper now. Your energy must become intentional. You can no longer give your strength to conversations that leave you drained. You can no longer entertain people who consistently dishonor your spirit. You can no longer apologize for needing boundaries that protect your peace. Pay attention to the subtle cues, the heaviness after speaking with certain individuals, the confusion that follows certain interactions, the way your body tenses around certain environments. These sensations are not random, they are revelations. Your spirit is exposing what your mind once ignored. Honor the signals. Withdraw when you feel your light dimming. Stop explaining what God has already revealed. Your emotional healing deepens every time you choose peace over obligation. Now hear this. Your voice must shift. Chosen ones often shrink their truth to avoid making others uncomfortable. That season is over. When heaven elevates a soul, their voice becomes part of the assignment. You must speak with clarity. You must speak with conviction. You must speak with boundaries rooted in love but firm in wisdom. Your words carry power more than you realize. Use them to create alignment, not chaos. Use them to reinforce your identity, not dilute it. Heaven is trusting you with influence, and influence requires a voice that refuses to whisper what God has called you to declare. Next, your decisions must reflect your destiny, not your doubts. Stop choosing from fear. Stop settling because you feel unworthy of more. Stop delaying choices that heaven has already confirmed in your spirit. A destiny-aligned decision may stretch you, surprise you, or even intimidate you, but it will never drain you. When something is aligned, it brings clarity. When something is misaligned, it brings confusion. Follow the clarity. And chosen one, let us speak about your spiritual discipline, the practices that fortify your foundation. Spend a few minutes each day in stillness. Let heaven speak before the world interrupts. Journal what you feel, not just what you understand. Your spirit often knows before your mind does. Read scripture, not only for comfort, but for instruction. The word strengthens your discernment. Keep your environment filled with words, sounds, and symbols that elevate your spirit rather than fracture it. You are building habits that reinforce your awakening. This is how you remain steady through elevation. Beloved, there is also this. You must learn to bless your future with your actions. Clean your space as if preparing for new beginnings. Organize your finances as if abundance is approaching. Approach your work as if favor is already unfolding. Treat your life as though breakthrough is not a hope, but a schedule. Heaven responds to expectation. When you walk like someone preparing for a miracle, the miracle begins to approach you. And chosen one, if your spirit is resonating, if something inside you feels the truth of this instruction rising like light beneath your ribs, write, "I claim my breakthrough," in the comments. Let heaven see your agreement. Let your spirit hear your commitment. Chosen one, now we step into the realm where application becomes transformation, where the practices you adopt begin reshaping the very atmosphere of your destiny. Heaven has not lifted you into awakening simply for insight. Heaven is preparing you for stewardship, for impact, for alignment that ripples through every layer of your life. And to walk in this new dimension, you must learn to govern not only your choices, but your inner climate, the emotional, spiritual, and mental space where destiny takes root. Beloved soul, you must now learn the art of spiritual calibration. This is the discipline of checking your inner atmosphere before you check the world around you. Before you respond, pause. Before you decide, breathe. Before you absorb someone else's energy, return to your own center. You cannot afford to let outside noise dictate the direction of your spirit. You cannot allow the urgency of others to override the clarity heaven is cultivating within you. Every day will bring distractions disguised as obligations, emotions disguised as truth, and voices disguised as guidance. Calibration protects you from wandering into misalignment. Ask yourself, does this bring me peace? Does this elevate my frequency? Does this match what God has whispered to my spirit? Anything that does not align with peace, purpose, and spiritual clarity is not yours to carry. Next, chosen one, you must master the discipline of emotional detachment from outcomes you cannot control. The reason so many souls become exhausted is not because of what happens to them, but because of what they try to manage that was never theirs to manage. You are stepping into a season where God is asking you to release the illusion of control. When you detach from forcing outcomes, you make room for divine orchestration. When you stop gripping situations with fear, heaven can rearrange them with precision. When you stop overthinking, your intuition can finally breathe. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is trust. It is the ability to say, what is aligned will stay, what is not aligned will leave, and I will remain anchored through it all. Beloved, this leads us into your next practice, protecting your mental garden. Your thoughts are seeds, your beliefs are soil, your focus is water, and your attention is sunlight. Whatever you repeatedly think will eventually grow roots into your decisions, into your identity, into your behaviors. This is why heaven has been urging you away from negative self-talk, away from imagined catastrophes, away from cycles of doubt that once governed your life. You cannot walk into a future of abundance with a mind trained by scarcity. You cannot step into elevation with thoughts shaped by fear. You cannot claim destiny while rehearsing defeat. Speak life to your future, not death. Speak potential, not limitation. Speak alignment, not chaos. The shift begins inside before anything changes outside. Now, chosen one, you must cultivate spiritual sensitivity in the small moments. Pay attention to the quiet nudges. Pay attention to the sudden hesitations. Pay attention to the warmth you feel around certain people and the subtle tightening you feel around others. The Holy Spirit does not always speak loudly. Often, He speaks through impressions, a moment of stillness where you feel seen, a sudden conviction that shifts your decision, a sense of reassurance when no words are spoken, a pull towards something you cannot explain. Your awakening has sharpened these senses. Trust them. They are not imagination. They are navigation. Chosen one, there is also this. You must learn to conserve your spiritual power. Stop pouring into places where your spirit shrinks. Stop explaining your vision to people who cannot see. Stop giving energy to battles heaven never asked you to fight. Stop trying to fix those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your power grows in stillness, not in desperation. Your influence expands when you stop scattering your energy. Your spirit strengthens when you stop negotiating your worth. Every time you withhold your energy from something that drains you, you reclaim power for your purpose. Beloved soul, you are now being called into co-creation with heaven. This means you must prepare for what you've prayed for. If you want stability, build structure. If you want clarity, reduce noise. If you want abundance, handle resources with intention. If you want love, heal the parts of you that sabotage connection. If you want destiny, walk like someone who knows they were chosen. Preparation is faith in motion. It signals to heaven that you are ready not only to receive, but to manage. And chosen one, if your spirit is stirring as you read this, if a warmth, a pressure, or a sudden clarity is rising within your chest, write "I'm ready" in the comments. Let your future hear you. Let your spirit align. Let heaven witness your willingness. There is still more heaven needs to impart, and the next instructions will anchor your transformation even more deeply. Chosen one, as we draw this guidance into its final stretch, your spirit is standing in a place it has not reached before. You are no longer observing your awakening from a distance. You are in it. You are becoming it. You are breathing in a new spiritual identity that your old self could never have carried. And heaven now asks you to seal this transformation through the way you live, not just the way you believe. Beloved soul, this final layer of instruction is not about effort. It is about embodiment. Everything heaven has poured into your spirit must now be woven into the rhythm of your daily life. Awakening becomes permanent only when your actions honor the revelation you have received. So hear this with clarity. 1. You must learn to move when heaven moves. No more delaying decisions that God has already affirmed in your spirit. No more shrinking back when elevation approaches. No more waiting for permission to step into what was written for you before time began. Your destiny is activated through obedience. The opportunities aligned with your name cannot meet you if you keep walking in circles of hesitation. You must show heaven you trust the path by taking steps even when you cannot see the whole map. 2. You must cultivate spiritual discipline in your routines. The greatest breakthroughs do not arrive through intensity, they arrive through consistency. A few moments of silence each morning, a whisper of gratitude before bed, a verse that anchors your focus during the day, a decision to release what brings confusion and lean toward what brings clarity. These small practices accumulate into momentum. They shift your atmosphere so subtly and steadily that suddenly, without warning, your entire life feels aligned. 3. You must honor your emotional truth. Suppressing pain is no longer an option. Avoiding confrontation within yourself is no longer sustainable. Dismissing your needs is no longer holy. Healing requires honesty. Honesty requires courage. Courage requires presence. Your emotions are not obstacles. They are gateways. Let them reveal where your soul still needs tending. Let them show you where old wounds still influence new decisions. Let them guide you toward deeper restoration. 4. You must begin walking with the posture of someone chosen. Chosen ones do not chase validation. Chosen ones do not compete for belonging. Chosen ones do not apologize for their anointing. You must allow your spirit to rise into the stature heaven has been shaping in you. Bring your shoulders back. Lift your voice. Make decisions without trembling. You're not stepping forward alone. The same presence that carried you through deserts will accompany you into destiny. 5. You must prepare your life as if the blessing is already on its way. Clean your environment. Organize your plans. Create structure for the abundance you prayed for. Build habits that reflect the future you desire. Faith that expects nothing receives nothing, but faith that prepares creates a landing place for heaven's release. Beloved, feel the shift happening inside you even now. Your mind is clearing, your heart is stabilizing, your spirit is aligning, your purpose is awakening. You are not simply receiving instruction. You are being reshaped into someone who can hold what heaven has prepared. And now, chosen one, seal this moment with intention. If your spirit is ready to not only awaken but embody this new path, write Amen in the comments. Let your declaration rise like a signal to heaven that you are prepared for everything your next season requires. And before we move into what comes next, because the journey ahead still carries revelation, alignment, and a closing prayer that will anchor everything we've built together. Take a breath and make space in your heart. Chosen one, slow your breathing. Let the world fall away for a moment. What you are stepping into now is not instruction, not reflection, not revelation. It is communion. A meeting place between your spirit and the God who has carried you through valleys you never had language for. This is holy ground, not because of where you are, but because of who is meeting you here. Beloved soul, heaven has been waiting for this moment where your walls are lower, your heart is softer, your awareness sharper. You have walked through awakening, alignment, and transformation. Now your spirit is ready to receive what can only be given through prayer, sealing, protection, empowerment, and divine confirmation. So come closer. Let your shoulders soften. Let your chest rise and fall without resistance. Let the weight you've been carrying slip off your spirit as if God Himself is lifting it, because He is. Chosen one, hear this as if it is being spoken directly into your soul. You are no longer wandering. You are being guided. You are no longer questioning. You are being clarified. You are no longer shaking. You are being strengthened. And now, as you enter this sacred dialogue, allow your heart to open in ways it never has before. For the Father is not distant. He is not silent. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He draws near to the ones who come with honest breath and trembling hope. Let us begin, Heavenly Father. We come before you with humility and awe. You who formed galaxies with a whisper. You who called light out of darkness. You who shaped the chosen one before their first heartbeat. We pause in reverence as your presence settles over this moment. Lord, look upon this beloved soul, the one who has endured storms without losing their flame, the one who has risen from battles meant to break them, the one who has walked through shadows and still searched for your light. Wrap them now in peace that surpasses understanding. Let every anxious thought unclench its grip. Let every wound begin to breathe again. Let every fragment of their inner world gather beneath your healing hand. Chosen one, as these words fall over you, feel the nearness of the Father. He has seen your hidden tears. He has counted the nights you held on by one thread. He has walked beside you in every disappointment, even the ones you never dared to speak aloud. And still, He calls you chosen. Beloved soul, let this truth settle deep. You are not praying to a distant God. You are speaking with the one who has carried you since the beginning. The one who has shielded you from unseen dangers, the one who has rewritten timelines for your protection, the one whose love has pursued you through every season. Father, we ask now that you pour healing into every place this soul has been wounded. Where there is fear, give courage. Where there is confusion, give clarity. Where there is heaviness, give release. Where there is fragmentation, give restoration. Where there is delay, give divine acceleration in your perfect timing. Chosen one, breathe deeply. This is not just a prayer you are listening to. This is a spiritual recalibration. Your atmosphere is shifting. Your spirit is opening. Your destiny is responding. Father, speak into the core of their identity now. Remind them of the strength you planted in them long before the world tried to weaken it. Remind them of the purpose etched into their spirit long before disappointment tried to silence it. Remind them of the destiny resting on their life long before fear tried to shrink it. Let your voice drown out every lie they believed about themselves. Let your truth rise louder than their history. Let your love rewrite the stories they carry inside. Chosen one, if you feel a warmth rising in your chest, a stillness settling behind your ribs, a trembling in your spirit, that is not emotion. That is alignment. Heaven is touching places inside you that no human hand ever could. And the prayer continues to unfold. Chosen one, stay in this stillness. We are entering the closing breath of this sacred moment, and heaven is not finished releasing what your spirit has been longing for. The atmosphere around you is shifting, softening, opening. You are no longer the same soul who pressed play. You are standing taller in the spirit now, clothed in clarity, wrapped in peace, marked by purpose. Beloved soul, let us return to prayer. Father, we lift this chosen one before you, now fully, wholly, honestly. You have walked with them through years of battles that no one else understood. You have stood beside them in silent rooms where their heart broke without sound. You have defended them in realms they have never seen, and you bring them now into a moment of divine sealing. Lord, stretch your hand over their future. Let no weapon formed against them prosper. Let no false voice lead them astray. Let no old pattern reclaim their mind. Let no fear sabotage their blessing. Surround them with angels who guard their steps with precision. Let opportunities find them with ease. Let doors open before them effortlessly. Let provision rise to meet their needs in unexpected ways. Let their destiny unfold as naturally as breath. Chosen one, inhale this truth. You are blessed going in and blessed coming out. You are favored in places you haven't even stepped into yet. You are protected in battles you will never have to fight. Your path is being straightened. Your name is being lifted. Your purpose is being activated. Father, we declare over this beloved soul, renew their strength like the eagle. Crown their days with wisdom. Flood their nights with peace. Let their spirit recognize every divine instruction. Let their steps fall perfectly in line with heaven's timing. And now, Lord, ignite their inner fire. Not the fire of striving, not the fire of fear, but the fire of calling. Steady, holy, unstoppable. Chosen one, stretch your spirit toward this next sentence. Let it enter you like light through an open window. You're not walking into your next season alone. Heaven is walking you in. Father, seal this prayer. Seal it in their mind. Seal it in their heart. Seal it in their spirit. Let every word spoken here echo through their days and whisper through their nights. Let your presence linger long after this message ends. And now, beloved, breathe one more time. Slow, deep, steady. You have crossed a threshold. You have stepped out of who you were and into who you were always meant to be. Before we close, if this prayer touched the deepest part of you, if you felt lifted, strengthened, renewed in any way, I invite you to leave a simple declaration in the comments. I receive what heaven has released. Let that be your final agreement with everything spoken over your life today. And chosen one, if this message has nourished your spirit, if it has awakened something holy inside you, if it has given you strength you are missing, you are welcome to subscribe, like, and share, so others may feel the same peace settling over them. Not for numbers, not for popularity, but because every time this word reaches another soul, heaven touches another life through you. And lastly, hear this gently from a place of reverence. There are moments when giving becomes an act of alignment, an offering that mirrors what your spirit has received. If you feel led, if your heart senses a pull, you may express your gratitude through super thanks. Not as a transaction, not as obligation, but as a sacred gesture, a sign that you honor what God has poured into you today, a way of planting a seed into the very atmosphere that just restored you. Only do it if your spirit whispers, yes. Only do it if peace accompanies the thought. For when giving flows from alignment, heaven multiplies what you release and marks it as worship. Chosen one, may peace follow you. May clarity walk with you. May purpose rise in you. And may you feel the presence of God in every step that follows this moment.